Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne. Hi, hello, and oh my gosh, I have another interestingly questionable, idiotically questionable or whatever type of story today with doctors in the medical field. Like I've said several times, I have so many stories when it comes to health, especially growing up until I was the age of 37. Doctors telling me that I walk the way I do because I want attention, because I'm desperate, and because just so many frustrating things that literally caused me physical, mental trauma all throughout my life till the point where I literally hated myself because everyone was pointing the finger at me, telling me it's my fault that I don't love God enough, and blah blah blah. Listen to the episodes if you need to be all the way caught up, but it all comes connected with this story because as as you may know if you've been listening, I finally got diagnosed after having to have major surgery, and major surgery where my now ex boyfriend wouldn't even come to visit me. And we were together for 6.5, close to 7 years by then. I begged and pleaded, and I was just like, what? How bad of a girlfriend? Like, how worthless? But don't worry, I'm going to tell that whole story because I talked about part one and part two of my no good, worthless ex, Mr. No Heart, not coming to see me. But part three it might be part three and four, but we'll see. But this is another part of the story where he never got to find out because by this time I ignored him. And it was easy to ignore him because he wouldn't call me and I wouldn't call him. For the entire relationship, I was always the one calling him. He would only call me when he needed money, when he needed anything from me, when I was taking too long getting to his house, when I was the one that worked 2 or 3 jobs, when I was the one trying to pay off my student loan, saving for a house, getting my life together, while he was never abundant with money. He was terrible with money, always needed to borrow gas money from me and money, period, because even when his vehicle got repossessed, he needed to borrow the money from me. When his vehicle broke down, he needed to borrow my car a few times, begging me to drive to his house to spend the night so that Saturday morning he would be able to get up, use my car to get to work so he can have some overtime. Yeah. And then when he finally got a car or was going to buy the car, he didn't have enough for the down payment. So then he called me and told me not only did he need the money, but he needed me to stop doing whatever I was doing, go to the bank, get him around $400 and give it to him right then and there. Right then and there. Do you know how frustrating that is and annoying that is? The one time I needed $20 from him after like a hit and run, like, because yes, like I've never even told that story to a full, but basically car got damaged and everything, and I'm trying to get my life together. I was saving money, I just started investing, but I didn't have $20 on hand, and I I had money, but I wasn't sure if I had enough money to make sure the car would make it all the way home until Friday and everything, payday. And he told me to figure it out. He told me to figure it out, but he after that he still had no problem asking me for more money. He had no problem asking me for more money. When he forgot to pay the light bill and the heat, yeah, he needed me again. He needed me so much, but when it came to getting health reports, and that's like when he finally started trying to contact me. He said I was obligated. Since you're my girlfriend, you have to tell me. You need to tell me about your like what you've been at. Because I remember after I told him that I'm pretty much over, like, you have treated me like garbage. And he was like, oh, and that's why you don't know what you're diagnosed with. He didn't know about 2 or 3 weeks prior. I got the DNA results. I got the DNA results. He didn't know it was DNA. I just told him I knew what I was diagnosed with. And he told me I was obligated. He told me I was obligated to tell him since I was with him for so many years. And he's one of those red pill, because I finally, like, I started noticing a pattern with him. And also I started listening to red pill because he was doing so many awful, dreadful things and asking so many personal questions. But when I tell him, what about you, he would say I didn't have to know about him. It was just the guy should know about the woman, but the woman shouldn't know about the guy. That kind of garbage, that kind of gaslighting, no good, nonsensical, inappropriate garbage. Yeah. Because yeah, especially he didn't even have enough gas money to last until the end of the week. And he's a father, same father who said that his daughters were nothing but a mistake. But yeah, he told me I was obligated. I was obligated to tell him what I was diagnosed with. And I wouldn't tell him. Oh, and he hated it. Oh, he hated it, and I loved it. The hate that melted from his like forehead tasted delicious. Like wherever his hate comes from tastes delicious. You know? Every morsel, you know. Doesn't need salt, no sugar, nothing, you know. Kind of like grits, you know. It's like salt or sugar. No, he didn't know. His was scrumptious. But I just remember, like, once I got diagnosed and once I was finally like done to the point where, like, even he had the nerve to try to text me happy birthday. And it's like, oh, you now want to pretend that you remembered my birthday. Either your daughter reminded you, or you put a reminder in your phone, or you did some kind of stupid nonsense because you didn't remember it before. And then he has this, like, him and his roommate had this birthday chart thing in the house where they hang all of, like, the people that they care about's birthday. Yeah, they wouldn't allow me, they wouldn't include me in that. So, but it was just, I say that because I remember he texted me the same day that my dad and sister had. They went to the appointment, and part of me was like, I should have went, because this is a DNA question thing about my disability. And I was told that since my mom passed away, that first they were going to test my dad. They were literally supposed to just swab his cheeks. All they were supposed to do was swab his cheeks, do a test to see if that's the side of the family that I got my disability from. But no. But no. And see, this is wrong with the medical system. Don't lie to me. This is what's wrong with our health system. America keeps saying we have the best health system. That's a lie. No, we don't. Because it took 37 years to diagnose me because they called me a liar. They told me that I was making it up. I got whooped. I got spanked. I got like traumatized, mentally and physically traumatized. In the back of my head, I keep thinking no one's ever going to want me, love me, or marry me. That's how many times I was told that by my mother. And how many men would tell me that I was worthless, because they said I'm smart in the brain, but my legs are dumb, my legs are stupid. Or you seem like you would be a great woman, but you walk like a R word. So then I finally get diagnosed, and then I find out it's from my DNA. I was born with it. And then the doctors tell me, oh my gosh, let's give you a DNA test so then we can find out. And then they recommend the doctor, the place, or whatever to get it done. But then when my father and sister get there was no DNA test. The doctor just asked him questions about me. And then they answered them wrong. Some of them they knew, but like half the questions, I'm like, that's not right. What are you talking about? And it's to the point where if you're going to have a DNA test, sorry if that was too loud, if you're going to have a DNA test and it's of questions, maybe ask the person who has the predicament, maybe ask the person who has the disability, maybe ask the person who was going through that situation, because they didn't. At the end of the appointment, the doctor told my dad and sister, make sure she makes another appointment. I want her to come in because I have tons of questions for her. Why in the world? You didn't even do what you were supposed to do. You had one job. You had one job. But then you decided you were going to take advantage of me. You decided you were going to take advantage of the situation, because how are you going to make me have this appointment? I'm so excited because I'm just like, yes, I'm going to get answers. I'm going to get what I need. Yes, I'm selfish in this area because 37 years I was told it was my fault. I was told that I walk the way I do because God does, like, I don't love God enough, or God is appalled by me, or that I need to ask for forgiveness, or that I don't know how to pray. Yes, all of this trauma. So then I finally get a doctor's appointment for my dad so he can take a DNA test. They had one job, one job. Then they don't do it and they end up just asking questions when, again, he didn't even know some of the answers. But guess what? They sure weren't shy to charge us $250 at least. $250 for questions. Questions that are going to help him. Nothing at the end helped me. I got nothing out of it. I got no DNA out of it. So I still have no idea if it's on my father's side or my mother's side. None. Absolutely none. And even when I asked my father to ask them, is there any sign or hint or anything that it could be from Agent Orange? Because my dad fought in Vietnam. He suffered from Agent Orange. And they're like, no, ha ha ha, can't be that, ha. Because my dad even said the guy was laughing. And I'm like, what's funny? What's funny? You didn't go through the trauma I went through. It's not funny. And now it's like I keep hearing about things that my dad has been diagnosed with. It's not funny. And so you have this fool, this idiot who can't even do his job because you say you're going to get DNA. You just ask questions. And I'm supposed to be getting answers, but you charge us only to fulfill your needs and wants. Your research. I still, like, I have no idea what he was doing with these questions. But then it's like he had the nerve to tell my family to make sure that I come back for him. Why in the world would I come back? Gonna laugh at the questions I have, not do a DNA test, and then it's like you're not gonna tell me that you're gonna ask them questions about me. No. I avoided them for years because of the way I was treated. And so it's like, no, it's like they don't know the full truth. They don't know. It's like, because even when the doctor was talking about certain ailments with it, and they were like, oh, no, that doesn't connect with her. I'm like, yes, it does. Especially like with my sleep pattern, and there's just different habits. Like one day I'm gonna talk about what I have, but yeah, it's like when my ex was so determined to, he told me I had to tell him, and then I started finding out, like, no, he keeps trying to look at my social media because he's trying to see if he can find it just so he can dig it in at me or whatever. So, and he's mean, despicable, awful. This is all in my opinion, but he is. He is. Got it from his mother. But anyway, doctors, do your jobs. Do your jobs. Because I still don't know. And I went through 37 years of doctors, family members, so called friends, teachers, and people at Oakland University blaming me, laughing at me, teasing me, putting me down. Yeah, I said OU, and I'll say it at every video I can because the torture and the treatment, everything they put me through. I've said it in another video. I told people at OU what I was going through, and they were like, it's not happening to your sister, so it's not happening to you. It's not happening to your twin sister. She's your twin. If it happens to you, it would happen to her. It's not happening to her, so it's not happening to you. So I'm snitching. I don't even care. Like, and I just wrote one of the people on LinkedIn. I told her what I thought of her because I'm at a point in my life where I'm of that age where I don't have to respect you anymore. I don't have to be, because I am a very bubbly, nice person. Some of you may not agree, but you'll get over it. I don't care. But I'm tired. I am bubbly, kind, nice, and everything, but I'm tired. When you take my kindness for weakness, when you say that it's my fault, when I am literally showing you a bruise that I got because I tripped over myself at home or out in public or whatever in front of my mother, and then I got home and then she taught me a lesson. So I showed you the lesson she taught me, and then you said I made it up or I must have done it to myself. How proud of you. How proud are you? So I finally get diagnosed. Finally get diagnosed. And then I need more answers. I need to know if the person who was teaching me a lesson, I need to know if that person who was teaching me a lesson, if I got the lesson from her, if I got these ailments from her DNA. Because she's gone. She's dead and gone. Even on her dying day, she still tormented me. I will tell that story, but people have no idea. Like, I was crying for days after. Like, I went to the hospital. I was in so much pain. My legs were in excruciating pain. But I was like, you know what? I haven't seen her yet at the hospital. Just get me through. God, just get me to the door. Just get me to her room. And then I regretted it. I regretted it. I still regret it. I should have never gone that day. Her final days, yes. Her final days, yes. And that might sound mean. I don't care. Like, if you don't know, you don't know. But try being told how worthless you are all of your life just to know that the main thing that made you worthless, you might have gotten it from her. That worthless might have come from her DNA. The reason why no one's ever going to want you, love you, or marry you might be because of the person who is saying this about you. Yeah. And so I needed answers. I needed to know. But the doctor had one job and he refused to do it. And I still don't know what he's going to do with the questions that are only half true. And no one, they never called me, thank goodness, because I would have to really try with all my might to keep my Christian hat on. Because with what I want to tell him, who The hell of a boss part of me wants to come out. Yes, I love that show. If you are a hell of a boss fan, please, write me, down the messages and everything like that. Tell me who your favorite character is. But I have a right to know. And the health system, you guys need to do a better job, because $250, like, because no, actually I think it was 500, because the DNA test was 250 and I had to pay out of pocket. I paid for that. I had to pay for that in full. And this is after like 12 to $20,000, because it was about 22,000 altogether, but it was in parts. But the big chunk was 12,000. So yeah, just picture having to spend $12,000, then more money, then more money, then more money, and then you have to spend 250 for the DNA test. But they said that they won't they you can't pay it in parts. You have to pay it in full, in order. And so I am piecing together every cent I could in order, because I'm like every other test, every MRI, all the blood tests, what blood works, whatever, the all the like, you don't even know how many tests I had to take and do. But the DNA test was the answer. I had to scrounge every penny. But then, to find out which side of the family, they couldn't even do their job. But anyway, this is the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human. You're human too. And these doctors need to get their act together, because all of my life, I've had to fight for my life. I've had to fight for who I am. I had to fight to even, as like, tolerate me, because I've hated me, because no one would give me the answers. No one would listen to me. I hated myself. And I'm still trying to piece everything together so I can accept myself, so I can start loving myself, so then I can fall in love with myself. I want to be one of those people with the high egos. I don't want a big ego, but a high ego, you know. But get the answers you need. Don't take some of this garbage that's going out there in the medical fields. Don't. I've been through it. I have been through it. No one deserves this. Because now I have to take more tests for something else that they ignored. And sometimes people say, oh, the medical system isn't racist. It's not because you're black. I kept debating if I'm going to show you the faces of some of the doctors, but my anger and my petty is rising to the surface. Just like when I wrote the woman from LinkedIn. I'm not going to say who. I'm going to show you what I wrote, but I'm going to bleep out all the names. But I'm going to tell you all about them. And then I'm going to show you the faces of those doctors. 2 of the doctors had to quit. And I'm just like, okay, it's not because of me, but what other stupid stuff have they done? How come a lot of the doctors that have treated me have all of a sudden been fired or are leaving the system? I keep having that happen to me. They keep leaving the system and getting fired and retiring so quickly because they're finding malpractice. But then when I say I need to sue, people are like, oh, well, they didn't know. They didn't listen. They didn't listen. They were so stupid. They were so stuck on themselves. They didn't listen. I kept telling them I didn't know why I walk like this. I kept telling them this is just how I walk. They kept saying it was in my head. They kept saying I was making it up. They said I wanted attention. They said I was lying. That equaled me getting spanked and whooped and punished in ways you would not even think of, including being left outside in the winter cold without a jacket. And you can't go in until you're like, well, not my dad didn't know about this, so I'm going to leave my dad out. my dad doesn't know a lot about the stuff that happened to me. And so I forgive him because now that he knows that it's a disability, and because my mother used to tell him what the doctor said, so he used to blame me. But now that I'm diagnosed, he has changed. And I do, it's a process because I still have anger, I still have petty, but I have to realize he didn't know. I keep having to remind myself to blame the doctors. I have to blame the doctors. But because of the doctors, they helped make my life a living hell. They kept enticing my mother to treat me like absolute garbage. Goodbye.